attention. Back in the day, learning about something, it was all about
repetition. Practice.
Practice makes perfect.
You can learn.
I mean, it's probably been a while since you've been in the classroom, and when you're trying something new, you just try what you've done before. And time again, you get the same disappointing outcome. And then you wonder why your master plan didn't work. One of my super skills, I would say, is that I can absorb a large amount of information. To process and tackle information, you need to constantly ask yourself, how does one concept relate to the other? And there is literally no downside into challenging your own beliefs. The goal should be exercising the habit of digesting information. When we're born and in childhood, we're on an exponential learning curve. And that continues throughout our life. And yes, it does slow down to some degree, but we are constantly learning new facts, concepts, and skills. And every bit of wisdom builds on what we already know. And from a biological standpoint, is how humans have succeeded within the world. We have become the dominant species. Our ability to learn fast, use tools, and work together, this has single-handedly helped us adapt and pivot when circumstances change. And we know from history, those that could not adapt to change went extinct. Life was brutal, and the same goes to us to some degree. Life becomes very difficult for those that are set in their ways. We all know someone who never learns from their mistake. Or you've actually been there yourself. And maybe you've spent weeks reading a book and somebody asks you about it and you find it hard to recall any information. And you probably felt like it's been a waste of time. Well, in this video, we're gonna solve that problem. Listen, there are more beneficial ways than the way that we have been taught from school, rather than what's more efficient and effective. And when I say effective, I just don't mean hoarding information, but to apply knowledge in an effective manner. And one of the reasons why we might find it difficult is that we all pick up bad habits, baggage from earlier on in life, which is hard to let go of. These are our assumptions. And then there's a fear of being bad at something that you know that's worthwhile. And maybe the fear is even more so if you're seen to be bad at it. We're so accustomed to ourselves knowing more or less that we know what we're doing. We expect things to be easy, and it's almost as if we need to learn how to learn. And one of the greatest barriers to learning is the difference between what you know and your evolving mind. And that evolving mind, how precious is that? Have you ever seen a child when they're just forming a sentence for the first time? It's a special moment. And I'm still amazed at myself when I'm able to construct sentences in Spanish. That my mind has evolved into a new way of thinking, a different way. And there are some commonalities that we can agree on when it comes to learning. 1, learning requires memory. And 2, we need to keep on learning. We either learn from our own history or experiences. But let's distinguish the two a little bit more. As bad as it sounds, history tends to repeat itself. So the problems and challenges you faced has most probably been experienced by somebody else, which is one of the reasons why I love watching documentaries and reading books. Studying the past can help you shape your future and others around you. Historical knowledge is something that you can always be continuously adding to your data bank of knowledge, and depending on your perspective can be applied depending on how you see it. And in case you haven't seen from my other videos, I am a big advocate of reflecting, which is something I've been doing a lot lately, especially in the last few years. And it's also a good way to update your previous misconceptions. When you reflect on experiences, you collect new data and you make active effort to seek feedback. Reflecting allows you to distill experiences into learning. So you want to learn better and faster. And I've stumbled across the Feynman Technique. And this basically ensures that you understand. You choose a concept that you wish to learn about. Pretend you are teaching a child. Write your explanation down and say it out loud. Identify any gaps in your understanding that might show up when you try to simplify the concept. Review and simplify your explanation again. And it works because you are writing it in a manner that a child would understand. It forces you to simplify things down. It questions how you are saying it. And we're all guilty sometimes of explaining something using unnecessary words. I mean, it makes us look smart. I've been there at meetings when someone's trying to describe something and all they're using is technical jargon. The Feynman Technique lays bare the true extent of our knowledge. Take an expert baseball player. How would describe hitting a ball at speeds at over 153 kilometers per hour? Some might say it's intuition or instinct. Maybe he would describe the cues of the pitcher, his stance, how he throws, whether the ball has spin on it at all. These are all very small nuances, but using this technique, it can mean the difference between knowing something and just knowing the name of something. So here's a formula: reflect, refine, and simplify. The next time you're listening to someone and you don't actually quite understand what they're saying, ask them to explain it in simple terms. And if they get frustrated, it's a sign that they don't fully understand what they're even saying. Anyways guys, that brings me to a close. Please like this video if you thought it brought you any value. Please subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. Comment below, say hello, let me know where you're from. I'm loving your comments so far. Anyways guys, I'll see you guys in another one. Bye-bye.